All right, welcome everybody to the Radical Results Mastermind for Tuesday, October 2nd. My name is Rob Goyette. We'll kind of go through the introduction quickly because I've got a lot of stuff to share with you today. So I live in Colorado Springs with my wife and two sons. I've been doing this stuff since 2007, supporting various leaders in the coaching niche. And in 2014, I decided to grow my own list and create products and programs. And it's been working really well, and I'm here to use that experience to help you. As far as the Radical Results Mastermind, there are two levels. There's Basic and there's Platinum. Basic meets 2 times a month for up to 90 minutes on the first 2 Tuesdays of each month. Platinum meets on an additional 3rd Tuesday of each month, always at the same time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Also, if you're on the other side of the world or in another place significant to daylight savings time changes, what I'm trying to say is always go by the U.S. time zones, please, because I think, for example, over in Europe, it's usually 1 or 2 weeks where daylight savings time is off. So anyway, just letting you know that. And then you get an email the day before each call giving you the access instructions, and then an email the day after each call with the replays and slides and machine transcripts and things like that. So I also wanted to mention in Platinum we have 2 Q&A calls, 2 live Q&A calls on the second and third Wednesday of each month. And for those, they're an hour long, and they're also at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you're interested in Platinum, just let me know. I also have archives of the mastermind calls going back to September of 2014. And so if you're a customer of mine, meaning if you've spent money with me, let me know and I'll give you access to those archives, and that does include Platinum members. Okay, let's go ahead and get ready to take some notes. I know you guys don't know what our topic is today, and neither did I until last night, but I'm really excited to be sharing this with you. I'm going to share with you technology tips and tricks. So we're going to look at all sorts of areas of technology, and these are tips and tricks that I oftentimes will share with people, and I get kind of a big aha, like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. And so as you take notes, what I would suggest is, jot down any website that I mentioned that looks like it'll be useful to you. And of course, you'll get the slides after the call too. But also, what was I going to say? Not only to jot down the URL, but think about how you might use it in your business. So let's get started with some of these tips and tricks. They're in no particular order, but I'm just going to show you some different places. So the first place I'd like to show you is voicebase.com. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second here as I open up my browser because I don't remember what's on my browser. There we go. Okay, no problem. Let's see. Just didn't want to reveal any client information. Okay, so here we are in a browser with just kind of an extra Gmail account I have. So the first thing I want to show you is voicebase.com. The cool thing about VoiceBase is that you can upload MP3 files and it will transcribe them for you. So for example, after every Radical Results Mastermind call that I do, I take the audio and I upload it to VoiceBase. So here's one from September 18th when Rennie Gabriel was talking to us. When you upload it to VoiceBase, you can then go into it, and after it processes it, it actually transcribes the audio. So, and then one thing that might help you is if you want to go in and edit this thing, they give you a few options here, but what I found works best is just to click a blank area in here and choose Select All, and then copy it, and then open up the Notepad or some word processor, paste that in there, and then you can go in and find out where the transcript starts, which is usually right around here. There's me saying, all right, welcome everybody. Can delete that stuff, and then where it ends. And sometimes it'll break things into nice paragraphs. Other times you might get one really long paragraph, and for that you might go in and just edit it yourself. Now it is a machine transcription, so it's not perfect. However, I think it does a pretty good job. And so if you need to transcribe an MP3, then I would recommend voicebase.com. Now, as far as the price goes, we're in my son's account right now, but I think you get like $60 in machine credits to start with, and that's plenty for a long, long time. So you can go to voicebase.com, set up an account, and start uploading those MP3 files that you'd like transcribed. All right, so that's VoiceBase. We're going to move on to another area of technology. And by the way, we're going to save questions till the end, but if you have questions about any of these resources, yeah, please make a note of that as well. And then we'll have time at the end to answer questions. I'm not sure we're going to get through all these today, though, because I've got a bunch for you. The next one is EasyGIF.com. EasyGIF.com has an area called video to, some people say GIF, some people say GIF. I think GIF is actually proper, but we can call it either one. But what you can do is you can actually upload a video file, and it'll turn it into a graphic, an animated silent graphic called an animated GIF. And you can then embed that into an email so it looks like a video is playing silently in the email. And then if people click on that image, that animated GIF image, you can then link to wherever the video is actually playing, like YouTube or some other service or a landing page. So that can be really cool. So if you want to make personal video emails to people, there's a premium way to do this called at a website called bombbomb.com, B-O-M-B, bombbomb.com, to send video emails, but it's really nothing more than this. So without paying any money, you could actually use this video to GIF converter, and I would recommend you use about 20 seconds of video, not a whole lot more, but it'll prompt you for all this stuff here, and I'm not going to do it now. I don't have a video ready to show you, but essentially you want to turn the video into a GIF file, and then you can use it. And if I remember right, with this site, they also have something that will optimize it afterwards. So just remember that when you go through, just read all the instructions. But when it renders your animated GIF, I think there's even another option to optimize it, which will make it a much smaller and easier animated GIF to embed, possibly in an email. It could be on a website, really anywhere you can put a GIF graphic. Okay, we're going to move on because we had so much to cover. Archive sites. So a lot of people don't know this, but there is a website called archive.org, and they have something called the Wayback Machine. And the Wayback Machine, oops, let's see what happens here. I don't want PowerPoint to contact any server for information. I might just have to manually go there instead of clicking it. All right, well, I'm just going to do that. So it's archive.org. And so what you can do is on archive.org, you can actually put in the URL of a website, and this particular site here has been taking snapshots of sites for years and years and years. So you can actually go back and see what was on a website before it changed. And I don't know why it's taking so long. Oops, looks like we got a couple of them. Oh, I think it was just struggling with that PowerPoint click. So for example, if we go to yahoo.com, okay, it's been crawling Yahoo since 1996. Let's just take a look in 1997. We'll just choose one of the dates it took a snapshot. How about February 27th? So if we click here, we can see what Yahoo looked like on February 27th. And the reason that it's not every day is I think they go in and they, when a site has changed significantly, then maybe they go ahead and take a snapshot. But I clicked on the 27 here, and in just a moment, we'll see what Yahoo looked like back in 1997. There it is. It may look familiar to some of you. It looks familiar to me. But yeah, that's what Yahoo used to look like. So you can use this, though, with JV Partners sites and pages, or maybe you're thinking about, I don't know, I've used it to go back and see like an offer that's expired on a site. So sometimes I want to go in and study the way someone does business, and so you can put a URL in there. But anyway, yeah, pretty cool site. It's called the Wayback Machine, and it's at archive.org. Now, another thing is you can archive pages manually if you want. So let's say you're going through someone's launch and they're going to close the doors. You could actually archive the pages of their launch. I don't have a URL in mind, but if we go in here, I'll just archive my own site. Okay. And I don't know if it's an entire website or if it's just one page. Well, we'll just see what happens. I'm going to hit save. And so what it's doing now is it's taking a snapshot of robgoyette.com. And oh, it looks like it's grabbing all the pages there. So what's going to happen is when it's done with this, we're going to get a link that is not on robgoyette.com, but has all the snapshotted pages, all the captured pages on it. So this is called archive.is, and it's a great way to, yeah, so here it is. Here's the URL right here. So if I took my site down, I could always go back here to archive.is and see what's on there. So this can be good before making a major change to your website, for example. If you're getting ready to totally redo your site, maybe go ahead and take a snapshot of it using archive.is before you make those significant changes. That way you can always go back and see what it used to look like. So anyway, pretty exciting stuff to me anyway. I hope you guys are getting some value out of this. Let's move on to another technical topic. Fiverr. Now, I know most of you know what Fiverr is, but what I want to say is that when you're using Fiverr, I believe the best strategy is to find what you're looking for. So let's say you wanted someone to proof your ebook. That might not even be the best way to search for it, but here are 9 results, right? And it sorts by relevance, meaning it's sorting by how strongly related it is to your search. But especially if there are a lot of results, I think it's a good idea to sort by best selling. This way you're working with the people who have the most experience and the highest reviews. So like this person here has 22 reviews, 4.9 stars. I'd feel really good about working with her. This person has 1 5-star review, but who knows? That could be them or a family member. So it may not be the best and most reliable. And we don't have a lot of search results here for proof ebook, but we could say proof document or something and probably find even more. What I usually like to do then is find like 3 of the top people and reach out to them and give them a quote or ask them for a quote and say, hey, what would you charge to do this project for me? And sometimes I'll even make a video for them so they can see over my shoulder and see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, I thought I should let you know how I research stuff on Fiverr, and it's to sort by best selling. Okay, and then next one, PowerPoint. I want to share with you, a lot of us use PowerPoint, and you might use something similar, and there are probably ways to do these in other programs. You might just have to open up Google and find out. But I just want to show you some of the common keyboard shortcuts and tricks inside PowerPoint that I use a lot. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to escape out of my presentation and switch over to it. And what I'm wanting to show you on this slide right here is that you can highlight text. In fact, I'll highlight this title here. And then you can use the keyboard shortcut. This is on the PC, so you might have to look it up if it's on the Mac. But Control-Shift greater than will make the text bigger, and Control-Shift less than will make the text smaller. This can be a very fast way to work with your text to make it smaller and bigger by using Control-Shift less than or greater than. So not that you have to memorize this, but just sometimes knowing that it's there can be great. Okay, I'm also going to show you 2 more tricks right in a row. And so the first one I'm going to show you is that if you hit F5, function 5, at least on the PC, it will automatically launch your slideshow from slide 1. The next thing I'm going to show you is that if you type in a slide number and press enter, it'll go to that slide. So we're on slide 10, I can tell in the lower left-hand corner. So I'm going to hit F5, boom. Now we just started over, and now I realize, oh, we want to be on slide 10, so I'm going to type the number 10, 1, 0, enter. And by typing the slide number and pressing enter, you can jump to a slide. Now, you may already know some of this stuff, but I know for a fact that a lot of people that I've shared this with, are just very enlightened by it. And if you give a lot of presentations, whether it's Zoom or live, it can be good to know some of these. Another thing is annotations. So you can see right here it says Control-P toggle. What that means is, at least on the PC, it might be a little bit different for the Mac, but you can press Control-P, I'll do that right now, and it turns into a pen, and then you can draw on the slide, which is very cool. But some people don't know how to get out of this. they'll start drawing, and then they're not sure, how do I get out of this? And so it used to be the escape key, but now that cancels your presentation. It's just simply Control-P again, and you're out of the pen mode. And the letter E is the keyboard shortcut to erase what's on the screen. So if you want to clean all your writing off, you can do that. So Control-P will turn on and off the pen, and the letter E will erase your drawings. Another thing I want to show you is you can actually turn your PowerPoint slides into JPEG image files. I do this all the time for webinars. I'll make the webinar in PowerPoint, but then when I want to, or I'll make the presentation in PowerPoint, but then when I want to actually make a video of it, I'll use a video editor and I'll use the audio track, and then I'll actually add in the graphics. And so the way to turn PowerPoint graphics, slides into graphics is just simply File, Save As, and then choose what kind of file, which in this case would be JPEGs. So where is JPEGs? There it is, right there. So I do this all the time, and I'll go ahead and hit save. When you hit save, it's going to say, do you want just the current slide or do you want all slides? So usually I say all slides. Okay, and so now it's going through the slides for today, and it just turned them all into JPEG images and stored them there. So anyway, I wanted to let you know that. By the way, the way to get back into a PowerPoint presentation without starting at the beginning like F5 is there's a little button right here that looks like a slide projector screen. If you click that, you'll be on the current slide instead of the first slide. Okay, so those are some PowerPoint tips and tricks. We're going to talk next about something called IFT. IFT is really, really cool and really, really powerful. So with IFT, IFT stands for if this, then that. And so what you can do is you can hook up some of the services that you use and say if one thing happens, then do something else. And so let me just, let's see, I'm going to try to show you a couple of things here. Okay, here are the services it works with. So Alexa, Best Buy, Evernote, eBay. I don't know a lot of these. Gmail, that's a good one. Google Calendar's a good one. iOS reminders, if you've got an iPhone, and you can say, hey, if this happens, create a reminder in iOS. A bunch of other ones. Reddit, I've used that before, and I'm going to show you guys Reddit later. So Wikipedia. So basically you can say if something happens in Facebook, then do something else. So, and they used to call these recipes, but now they're called applets. And so what we can do is we can look at some of the popular ones. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. It's not activity. Maybe I just have to go to the home page. Okay, so like here, 18 applets for small business owners. So you can tell Google to call your device. I guess that's if you use Google Home or whatever services. But essentially, you can go into some of these. Let's try to find one that I understand better. So track your work hours in Google Calendar, okay? I don't know if you need to do that, but let's say you do. You could actually click here, and it says all you have to do is set your work location, and anytime you arrive or leave the area, it'll be automatically added to a calendar for easy tracking. So it sounds like this probably works with your phone, and when it notices that your phone goes into a certain area, it starts documenting that. So I guess that's if you drive to a place. I think that's what that is. This thing is so powerful, and there's so much you can do. I'll just show you. I set this one up. Quickly block off the next hour as do not disturb. So and by the way, they have apps for your phone too. So you can pull up the IFT app and push the button, and it'll block off the next hour as do not disturb in your Google Calendar. That's what that one is. This one I was just playing around, but you can set it up to ring your phone if you want to act like you need to take a phone call and leave. I've never used that in person, but I thought that was kind of cool. Here's another one, get an email with your current location. So again, you could be on your phone, you could push the IFT button on your phone, and if you've got this in here, it'll send you an email with your location in Google Maps. So that's kind of cool too, great for like finding your parking spot, for instance. I've also set reminders in Evernote, or if I save something on Reddit, stick a note in Evernote. So anyway, just the thing to understand is it's if this, then that. So if something happens in one service, then do something else. And so that's called IFT. And yeah, I'm a big fan of IFT. I think it's really cool. Okay, next, Zamzar. So Zamzar is good if you need to convert files. So let me just go to zamzar.com. And so, I use a PC, and sometimes my clients use a Mac. So if I go here and look through, here's, here, this thing, that's a Pages document, right? That's like the word processor for the Mac. I don't have Pages, and Microsoft Word won't open it, but I can convert Pages to DocX, which is the later version of Microsoft Word. I can put in an email address, videocoachrob@gmail.com, and I can say convert. And so what Zamzar will do is it'll convert that Mac file into a PC file. And they have all sorts of conversions in here. And then I'll get an email when it's done, and then I can download it. So that's Zamzar, and I think Zamzar is great. I use it a lot. Okay, next. People are always asking, hey, where can I find great images to use? Well, a lot of images, they have, I don't know if it's copyright or some kind of trademark protection on them, right? Probably copyright. So if you were to go to a site like Bing.com and search for an image of a computer, let's say, and some of these you're probably not legally allowed to use. Now, I don't think you're really in much danger of somebody saying, hey, you use this off my site, but it's possible. But if you go to the license area here, and you might have to turn the filter on if that's not showing. So you can click filter, and then if you go to license, you can choose all Creative Commons. And Creative Commons are generally all this stuff, free public domain, free to share and use, and free to modify and all that stuff. I'm not an expert in the different levels here. You could choose learn more if you want, but I usually just choose all Creative Commons. And so now these are pictures that you could use in your webinar or on your website, and at least you can show that, hey, I did my due diligence because I made sure I looked for Creative Commons licenses. So anyway, that's just a little tip about using Bing by using the filter for all Creative Commons if you need images. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I just clicked the mouse, but I'll go back. By the way, I use my left arrow to go back. You can use your left and right arrows or your up and down arrows to move around in PowerPoint, or your mouse click or your space bar. There are all sorts of keyboard shortcuts, and maybe you can Google those. But what I wanted to mention here about the Bing images is in PowerPoint, which we're in right now, if you need an image, one thing you can do is you can go to Insert, Online Pictures, and it will actually do the same thing. It'll search Bing for your pictures. So if I search for computer, notice that it's already got the filter set on Creative Commons. So if you're inside PowerPoint doing this, you can actually do your Bing search from inside PowerPoint. So that's kind of cool too. Okay, let's keep moving. Advanced Google searches. Yeah, if you spend some time getting good at searching on Google, it'll really save you a lot of time in the long run. So I went ahead and linked to a site that gives lots and lots of examples of how to use custom Google searches, but I'll just show you one right now. If you put the word site, colon, and then the domain, and then a space, and then your search word, what Google will do is it will only search this site for this keyword. So if I go look at site, colon, robgoyette.com, space testimonials, let's see what happens. If I did that right, the results are all on robgoyette.com, and of course the most relevant is the testimonials page, but all the other pages have links to testimonials. So that can be great for searching a specific site for something. That's just one example. There's a whole bunch over here on this URL that I found. Or you can go do your own search to try to find. They're called Google search operators. But what I like about this one is it kind of has a business slant toward it. So anyway, yeah, just want you to know that you can get really good with your Google searches, and it can really, really serve you well. Looks like we got that email from Zamzar. There it is. So the document's been converted, and if I click to go to the converted file, I can download it right here. So it changed it from a .pages to a .docx. Okay, let's move back to our presentation here. Okay, Google error messages. What I mean is if you get an error message on your computer, no matter what software you're using, it can be really helpful just to simply type that message into Google, usually in quotes. Quotes means it has to be that exact phrase. So type part or all of the error message into Google, and it's very, very likely that you will be able to find a solution. So if you don't feel like you're real technically savvy, this can be a great solution. Is to type in the error message into Google that you get, and somebody out there has probably figured out how to solve that error message. I use it all the time, especially when I have problems with hardware or even software. Something's just not working and I'm getting this error message. It's really, really helpful. So I wanted to point that out. All right, still moving right along. Hotwire. Okay, so I know we all have our favorite travel sites, and I do too. I use hotels.com a lot. But I've really been impressed lately with Hotwire. And so if you're traveling, I just wanted to point out Hotwire. I think I've almost always found the cheapest prices with Hotwire. The thing about Hotwire is they don't always tell you which hotel you're going to stay at or which car rental agency you're going to use. So if that matters to you, then this might not serve you. But if it doesn't matter to you, then I would say at least compare your current travel searches on Hotwire and see if you get a better deal there. So again, when I've shared Hotwire with people, they've been grateful. So I thought I'd share it with you guys too, just in case it helps. All right, the next thing, this is really cool. Now, I did not set it up for this call today, probably should have. But if you're familiar with green screen technology, kind of like when you're watching the news and they're doing the weather and there's that weather map behind, it's actually just a green or some kind of colored screen. The technical term is called chroma keying. And what it does is basically the computer or whatever is doing the processing says, hey, see the color of that background screen? Ignore it and instead put another image like a weather map on there. And then if the weather person moves around, then the screen is revealed behind them as they move and the picture replaces them. So it's a way to sort of have your own background. And Zoom, not too long ago, released something called virtual background. So if you have a green screen, and you can probably find one pretty cheap on Amazon, but if you have a green screen, you can actually set your own virtual background. You can have it set to an image. And so anyway, I've done that before in some groups I was in, and it's cool. My wife used it. She was meeting with somebody, and she was in my office, which had a very plain white background, and so she took the green screen and put this really luxurious home in the background. She wasn't trying to fool anybody, but just she wanted her background to look nicer. So that's called virtual background, and you can get into it in Zoom under your meeting options. It's under the advanced meeting options, and it's called virtual background. So anyway, that's kind of cool too. Thought I'd share that with you. All right, let's keep moving. All right, website passwords. So a lot of people, let's see, I'll just go to, Fiverr's a bad one. Let me go to VoiceBase here. Okay, see if this looks familiar. Somebody asks you for your password, or you want your password, and you, let's see, and it's saved in your computer. Where is it? Let's see. Let me just, might be on the wrong page for that. Okay, sign in. This is the page I'm familiar with. Okay, so you can see your login, but you don't know what your password is. Well, what you can do is you can right-click, and this is in Firefox, but most browsers have something similar. But you can right-click, and instead of saying fill the password, you can view your saved logins, and it'll show you your logins for this particular URL. And if you click show passwords, it will reveal it to you, or you can even just right-click and say copy password. And Google Chrome has got a very similar feature. So, and most of the other browsers do too, I would imagine. You could also clear this out and see all your usernames and passwords, or search for them. And so, so anyway, a lot of people don't know that if you let browsers save your passwords, that you can in fact see those passwords. So that's what I'm trying to share with you there. All right, let's move on. Amazon. So, we know we can shop on Amazon, right? But there are a couple of cool areas of Amazon that I just want to introduce you to, or make sure you're aware of. The first one is Amazon Web Services. This is so that you can use your Amazon account like a hard drive. Now, it does cost money, but it's very, very inexpensive. I think my bill with them last month was $10, and it's usually like $2, but I've been doing a lot of webinar stuff lately, and I have a lot of client stuff out there. But what you can do is you can sign into the console at aws.amazon.com, you might have to create an account, but it's tied to your main Amazon account. And then what you want to do is you want to log in under S3. If you don't see it here, you can just type S3 to search for it, and it'll be there. So scalable storage in the cloud. So if we go there, then you can create buckets, which are really just online folders that have your stuff. So if I want to go into Radical Results Mastermind, or maybe one of my automated webinars, I can go here, and so here's a video right here that I uploaded, because you can upload files into the folders or into the buckets. And what I want to show you is one thing to understand about Amazon S3, and by the way, the reason I like it so much is not only is it super cheap, but it's very, very fast and very, very reliable. So anytime I use like an automated webinar software, I will host the video on Amazon S3 to make sure it's very fast. So what I want to mention though is after you upload it, you do need to make it public. So you just put a check mark by the file you want to work with, and under Actions, you choose Make Public, and just hit Make Public again, and then you can see the progress down at the bottom. It was instant, one success. And then if you wanted to download it or link to it, what you can do is just, it doesn't have to be checkmarked, but what you want to do is just click somewhere in this bar, and you'll see this link here. This is the link to actually watch the video. But if it's not public, nobody else will be able to see it unless they're logged into your Amazon S3 account. So that's why I want to make sure I've made it clear that with Amazon S3, you want to make sure that your video is public, and then you can link to it by clicking on the appropriate item and then right-clicking and copying the link location, or whatever your browser says for copying a hyperlink. Okay, so that's one thing. That's Amazon S3, and yeah, I know you can use Dropbox and some other things, but as far as especially hosting video files where you want to be able to link to the MP4 video, like when you're using automated webinar software, yeah, I don't think there's a better solution than Amazon S3. And again, it is super duper cheap. Like for a long time, I think my bill was less than $1 a month. And so yeah, so anyway, just wanted to let you know, Amazon S3, that's a great service available at aws.amazon.com. Another one is KDP, which stands for Kindle Digital Publishing, I think. And so, you know, we're not going through the whole process of publishing an ebook, but it's not difficult. And if you wanted to try it, you could even just take a document, or if you have an ebook or a free report, just go to kdp.amazon.com. You might have to sign up with them first, I'm not sure. But once you're signed in, you've got this thing called your bookshelf, where you can see your existing books. But more importantly, this is where you can create a new title, and you can choose ebook or paperback. So I'd probably choose ebook, and you just follow the prompts, and you can upload a Microsoft Word file. That's how easy it is. You do have to upload a separate cover. In fact, it looks like it's even telling you the things you need to have here. And so most of it is really, really intuitive. And if it's not, you can just do a Google search or a YouTube search to find out how to do it. But if you'd ever like to have a book on Amazon, then yeah, just get your stuff together, get your book together. I just use Microsoft Word when I do this, and get a cover made. You could go to Fiverr for that if you wanted. And yeah, and then just follow the steps. It's really, really straightforward. And if you enroll in their KDP, it's Kindle Direct Publishing. If you enroll in their KDP Select program, that will allow you to actually have a promotion where you give away your book for free for up to 5 days. I think it's once a quarter. There are some rules, like you can't publish it somewhere else, but yeah, that can be a really cool thing to do, and that's what we use to get. This was the beginning of this year. I think it was about the beginning of this year. Yeah, I worked with some people, and we got an ebook to be it's this one right here, to be #1 on Amazon, and we used the KDP Select program to do that, so that we could have a promotion and give it away for free. I think we just did 3 days in that case. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you KDP Select. I do see you guys are typing in some questions. I'm going to check those real fast. But okay, yeah, those are questions specific to what I'm teaching, and we'll do that at the end. So you can type those questions in the Q&A box now if you want, but I'm going to ignore them until we get to the end. I just wanted to make sure nobody was typing in like, hey, we can't hear you. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, Google Translate app. Most of you are probably familiar that you can go to translate.google.com, or maybe it's google.com/translate. They probably both work. But The really cool thing, and I learned this while I was living over in Europe, is there's a Google app, and it's a Google Translate app for your phone, and it uses your phone's camera, and you can actually just point your phone's camera to something, and in real time it'll translate it. You look at your screen and you can see what it says in your own language. So like, I would be in Poland looking for something at the grocery store, and I wasn't sure, I think in this case I wasn't sure if the meat was pre-cooked or had to be cooked or something like that. But yeah, I just held up my phone and pointed the camera at the label, and I knew instantly what it said. And so I just want to let you know that that's available. So anytime you're somewhere where you can't read something because it's in another language, if you've got that Google Translate app on your phone, now you can. All right, let's move on to the next one, Gmail. Okay, lots to share with you in Gmail. If you look at my inbox at almost any given time, unless I've been offline for a while, I usually have 0 emails in the inbox or very few emails in the inbox. And the reason for that is that I like to snooze my emails. So let me just go to this this right here. Let's say, this is a bad example. Okay, let's say TechSmith has sent me this updated privacy policy, and I realize it's important and I should read it, but I don't have time right now. Well, in Gmail, they've now added this feature. You have to be using the new version of Gmail, but if you click snooze, you can say, hey, I want to do it later today at 6 p.m. or tomorrow at 8 a.m., or you can pick the dates and times. So let's say I want to take a look at this tomorrow. Now I've customized mine so it's usually 5 p.m. and 5 a.m. So mine would probably, in my normal email account, it would say tomorrow, Wednesday, 5 a.m. But if I do this, it'll disappear, boom, it's gone, and it'll show up tomorrow, in this case, at 8 a.m. So it's a way to keep your inbox clean and clear. I've ignored this inbox because this is just a test Google account. But if you were to look at my existing inbox, I shouldn't have any emails in there except for the ones that came in during this presentation. So it's a way to keep a really clean inbox, and I tell you, the energy that frees up when you don't have this list of hundreds of emails that you know you have to get to, I find it really liberating and energizing. So that's Gmail snoozing. I used to recommend something called Write Inbox, and it's still kind of a cool service, and I still pay for it, but Gmail snoozing really does the bulk of what Write Inbox did, and it's free. So I like that. All right, another thing is Gmail keyboard shortcuts. These keyboard shortcuts can save you significant time over time. What you can do is you can go into the settings of your Gmail account and go to settings. So click the gear, go to settings. And then we want to turn the keyboard shortcuts on, and I'm guessing it's right around here somewhere. Here it is, keyboard shortcuts. Okay, I've already got them on. So the keyboard shortcuts that I use the most are to tap the letter C to compose a new message. So C for compose, boom, there it is. Or to tap the letter Y to archive a message. So if I tap the letter Y, it archives the message. So I don't know if it shows what the keyboard shortcuts are inside settings. Otherwise, you can just Google it, but let's see if it says what they are. Learn more. Yeah, here we go. So here are all the different shortcuts you can use. But if you find yourself doing the same thing over and over in Gmail, or really any program, you can learn the keyboard shortcuts for it, and it makes it so much faster to work with the program. So anyway, just wanted to let you know about those Gmail keyboard shortcuts. The next thing is canned responses. You may have heard me talk about these before, but in order to get canned responses to work, it used to be in an area called Labs, but it's no longer there. Now it's under an area called Advanced. And you just simply want to enable the canned responses. When you do that, you can create a canned response. So I'm going to tap the letter C for compose, and I'll put, thanks for your time today, dear, and then maybe I leave that blank for the person's name. Maybe I stick a comma there. So dear, yeah. Thanks for your time on the phone today. Talk soon. Okay, so let's say that I'm always sending out this message or something very similar. What I can do is I can go into more options, canned responses, and I can create a new canned response. It uses the subject line as the name of the canned response, so that's fine. I can hit OK, and now what I can do is if I start a new message, I can go to canned responses and pull up that email message. Thanks for your time today. Boom. And then I can just put the person's first name in here and hit send. So I use this all the time. It's really great, especially, if you need pretty much some boilerplate copy to send out to people over and over again. So those are called canned responses. So I'll discard that. All right. Next, Gmail multiple addresses. So sometimes it can be helpful to have more than one email address, especially when you're trying to test something out. And some people know this, but a lot of people don't, that if you have a Gmail address, you can add a plus sign. Let's see if I can get the little pen here. You can add a plus sign and then anything you want. So I put today's date, October 2nd, 2018. If you put a plus sign and then something, whatever you want right here at gmail.com, Gmail will ignore everything after the plus sign. So it'll go to, in this case, my personal email address, rgoyette@gmail.com. It'll go there, but it will be listed on the websites that I used and addressed to me as rgoyette+100218@gmail.com. So it can be a way to test out multiple addresses. It's great for testing out before you have a launch, or if you're trying to test out your automated webinar software and make sure that works, or if you're trying to test out your scheduling program like TimeTrade or Acuity Scheduling. This can be a great little trick to have unlimited email addresses that all go to the same place in Gmail. So that's what that is. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, useloom.com. Most of you have heard me talk about Loom before, but I highly recommend you start using this if you're not already. Loom is a plugin for Google Chrome, so you have to use Google Chrome. I normally use Firefox, but when it's time to make videos, I go into Google Chrome. And if you just simply go to useloom.com, it'll prompt you through the process. If you refer 2 friends, they unlock, one of the features they unlock, I think, is a time limit of 10 minutes. And the other feature they unlock is like how long it lives on the server. I think instead of 7 days, it lives there forever. So unlimited time, unlimited duration, which is great. I usually use Loom to record videos for clients to show clients what to do. But you can also use it with vendors. Like you could make a video for someone on Fiverr and send that to them. So I really, really like Loom. I'm not going to demonstrate it right now, but this button right here is where you go to start recording in Loom. And you can decide to be on camera or off camera or show your screen or not show your screen. I'm usually off camera, just showing my screen. But I tell you, it's so much faster than typing, and just flat out easier. Plus, it lets people look over your shoulder. So if you're not using Loom yet, I'd highly recommend you go to useloom.com. All right, some browser tricks. So first thing I want to share with you is browser zooming. So let me just, okay, well, let's just say right here. Let's say that I wish that I could zoom in on this area. Well, what you can do is you can hold, at least on the PC, you might have to look it up for the Mac, but you can hold the control key down and use the wheel on your mouse to zoom in and make things bigger. Or hold down the control key and scroll the other direction to make things smaller. Usually the keyboard shortcut to set things back to normal is Control-0. So Control-0 will set you back to normal, but this can be really good to zoom in or zoom out. Sometimes I'll want to take a screenshot. Let's say I wanted to take a screenshot of this page, but I wanted to actually get the rest of this book in here, and right now it's not. I could hold down the control key and zoom out until I can see everything. Now I could take my screenshot. Another thing, by the way, you can see it's at 140 right now. I'm just rolling the wheel around. But another thing you can do is, I think it's F11, function 11 on the keyboard. Yeah, it gets rid of everything. It puts you in full screen mode. So that way you might be able to take that screenshot without zooming, like in this case here. And then F11 would toggle you back into normal screen mode. So you can look these keyboard shortcuts up for your operating system, your browser. I just want you to be aware that you can do this stuff. Another thing is incognito. Incognito, it does not make you like invisible or unknown on the internet. Like if you go into incognito mode, websites still know your IP address and all that. It's just that on your end, it does not save like the history or cookies, that type of thing. So if you go into incognito mode, this can be great for testing out something. In fact, I'm going to try this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but let's see, for Firefox, I think it's Control-Shift-P to get there. And now if I go to coach15.com. Let me just see if my countdown timer, yeah, my countdown timer started at 1 hour. But outside of incognito mode, if I go to coach15.com, it's probably already at 0. Yeah. So in other words, I was cookied in normal Firefox, but when I went into incognito mode, it's like I got to look at it as a new user. And that's really what I'm trying to share with you is you can use incognito mode to appear as a new user to a site in case you've already been cookied. So anyway, that's kind of a cool trick. Another thing is inspect element. Now, this one, I'm going to teach you how to do something really powerful. Please do not use these powers for evil. I am going to show you how I can seem to have $900,000 in my PayPal account. So let me log into PayPal. Okay. And we can see right now I have $677.46. So what I want to do now, though, is if I right-click and choose Inspect Element, you can see all the different elements on the page, but specifically, I can go in and change this. Maybe I shouldn't be showing this to you guys. I'll just change it to 900,000. Oops. 900,000. The reason I didn't do a million is because it would wrap over to the next line. But now it looks like I have $900,000 in my PayPal account. Anyway, what I'm trying to show you here is that you can actually change the appearance of what's on a site by inspecting the elements. So you could go to google.com and instead of Google search, let's see if we can call this Rob search. So inspect the element and value label says Google search. I'm going to make that, let's make it say Goyette search. That'd be even more special. Goyette search. And I'm just going to hit the tab key to get out of there. Let's see if it worked. Oh, didn't work there. Google, they're smarter than I am and probably have a way to make sure that people don't do this. I'm not sure. But let me just try it one more time. It might be under value. Nice to be able to see it. Ah, there it is. Now it says Goyette search. So anyway, I'm not suggesting that you do this to trick people, but it can be a good way to troubleshoot your web pages if you're not sure what you're looking at. And another thing, just for fun or various other reasons, you might want to alter what shows on a web page, and this could be a way to do it. Again, I feel like I'm giving you guys this evil power, so please. Don't show your bank that you have 900,000 in PayPal if you don't, because who knows what would happen. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, so the next, clear URL cookies. So let's actually see if this works. I'm going to go back to that coach15.com. All right, so I've got this countdown timer. It's at 0, but if I clear the cookies out of here, hopefully it'll start back at 60 minutes or at an hour. So what I'm going to do is I want to go into the settings, the options, and I want to clear cookies for coach15.com. So that's probably under privacy and security, and I think it's under manage data. Now I could clear all my cookies, but if I want to clear them just for one site, manage data, and then I'll type in coach15. There it is. There's one cookie set there. I will remove the cookie. Save the changes. Boom. Now, if I go back to that page and refresh it, let's see if it's... Okay, the reason it probably is not is because that countdown timer is probably hosted somewhere else. I think it's hosted on countdownmonkey.com. So let's see, it might be there. So manage data. Countdown Monkey, yeah, okay. Now let's try. Oh, there we go. It's back to an hour. So anyway, the point I want to make is a lot of us know that we can clear all of our cookies, but you can clear cookies for individual elements or pages on sites so that it doesn't know you've been there before. So that's what I'm trying to show you there. Okay, so let's go ahead and close a couple of these. All right, so moving on, VPNs. I'm just checking to see how we're doing on time. Looks like we're doing great on time. You might have heard of a VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. And the bottom line is a VPN will let you change your IP address. So you can appear to be somewhere else. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is that sometimes, like, I can think of a real relevant example. So I was trying to help someone move some names over into one shopping cart. And one shopping cart has this strict rule about only allowing, I don't know, like maybe 2 or 3, or maybe it's 10, or maybe I'm thinking of Aweber. I don't know. They both have these restrictions on how many how many names and emails you can submit through a form. So what I figured out is that if I had the form up on my screen, if I cleared the cookies and then changed my IP address to another location, I was able to submit another 10 names or whatever it was. Then I'd clear those cookies, change my IP address to another location, and enter in 10 more names. So if you need to appear to be somewhere else or someone else, using a VPN can be a way to do that. And I'm not going to go into tons of detail on VPNs, but I'll tell you another example. When I was living over in Europe, I couldn't get Netflix. It wasn't available over there at the time, and I think it is now. But anyway, so I used a VPN to make Netflix think I was in Chicago, for example, and then I could watch Netflix. So I realize that's not business related, but sometimes it can be helpful to know how to how to have your IP address show that you're in another location, and that's called a VPN. And there are even free VPN services. I have a paid one, but I've heard good things about the free ones. The thing to remember with free services, though, is if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. So I don't know what I think about free VPNs. I'd probably invest in it if it was something you were going to use a lot. But if you're just going to play around with it a little bit, maybe, yeah, check out a free VPN and see how it serves you. Okay, let's keep moving. PayPal. I want to show you how to create PayPal buttons. Let me just go back to PayPal. If you go to your Tools menu in PayPal, right down here, there's an option that says PayPal buttons. Now, you have to have a PayPal business account for this, but if you don't, the upgrade to PayPal Business is free. It doesn't cost anything. Now, they have even a higher level. I don't remember what that is, but that costs money. But this just PayPal Business is free. That will give you access to these tools, and one of them is PayPal buttons. If you have a heart next to it, then it'll appear in your Tools menu, so you don't have to keep going back to the screen. So you can go to PayPal buttons, and then what you can do is you can create a button. And the two ones that I use are Buy Now and Subscribe. Buy Now you can use, this is if you want people to be able to click a link or a button and give you money through PayPal. So it circumnavigates or gets around anyway your shopping cart, and there are reasons to do this sometimes. So if we go to Buy Now, and let's just say I don't know, somebody wants to hire me for some laser coaching. So just put laser coaching with Rob, and let's say it's $9.97. This is for a one-time payment. Usually don't have to change anything here. Usually don't have to change anything in step 2. Step 3, I usually remove the customer shipping address. I don't need that. And then you can also take people to a couple of different URLs. If they cancel their checkout, you could take them back to your sales page. If you put a check mark here and put the URL of your sales page, and when they finish checkout, you could take them to a thank you page. So if I have really good rapport with someone, I'm not even going to fill this stuff out. I'm just going to send them the link, and they'll just get a standard PayPal thank you page. But if you wanted to send them somewhere else, you can. That's what these are. And so what you can then do is click Create Button, and they give you all this complicated website stuff to actually create a button that looks like this, Buy Now. But what I found is if you just go to the email tab, here's a nice simple link that you can give to people, either in an email or you could attach it to a button on your web page, and this will do the same thing. It's nice and clean. So if somebody goes here, they can then go into PayPal and send me $9.97. Now I don't have, I can't show this to you because PayPal will not let you test it out on your own account. So you might have to get a friend to help you if you're wanting to test it out. But that's a PayPal button. Let me show you the other one, the subscription one. Okay, under Subscribe. Okay, so let's say somebody wanted to come into Platinum. And let's say it is $49 a month. So what I'm trying to show you here is you put in the amount for each cycle, and then you say how long the cycle is. I've made this mistake before. If somebody was going to pay me like, I don't know, 6 payments of $500 or something like that, I would sometimes change this to a 6. That's the wrong thing to do. This means every 6 months. So make sure that it's set to 1 month and then decide how many billing cycles there should be. And so it can be ongoing, or you can say after 12 months, stop charging them. So in this case, we might say ongoing. You can also offer a trial period. So maybe we want to give them 3 months free. So maybe that's $0 and it's 3 months. Okay, you can even offer a second trial period, but yeah, I've never had to use that. The rest of this stuff is pretty much the same. Don't need the shipping address. I'm not going to take them to a thank you page or anything. But if I hit create button, now what this would do is this link right here would give someone 3 free months inside my Platinum Mastermind, and then after that would charge them $49 a month each month until they canceled or until I canceled for them. So these are PayPal buttons, and I found them, I use them all the time, and I've noticed when I've showed people this, they did not know how to do that, so I thought I'd share it with you in case any of you did not know how to do that. The other thing I want to mention is to get a credit card swiper for your phone, you could use Square, or you can use PayPal. I use PayPal, so at paypal.com/here, you can sign up for the ability to basically take a credit card in person. So if you go to live events, or if you talk to people in person, and excuse me, if it would be more helpful to swipe their credit card than to have them go online and fill out a form, yeah, you can do this. And they have different readers, and some accept chips and stuff like that. The one that I got, they sent it for free. I think normally it's $15, and I don't know if you can still get it for free. But yeah, just sign up for a PayPal Here account, and then do a couple of practice purchases with yourself before going to a live event. But I was at a live event, and 10 people paid me $997 in person by swiping their credit cards through my phone. So yeah, I mean, it was, if I hadn't had that, some of them still might have signed up with me, but there's something we call the half-life of enthusiasm, which says that an hour after they're no longer talking to you, they're much less excited, and 2 hours later, they're even less excited, and a day later, they've forgotten you. So if you can actually help people sign up with you when they are hottest, when they're ready to do it, this can be a way to do that. So you can go to paypal.com/here, or you can go to, if you want the Square one, you can go to square.com/reader. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let's just find out. Square.com/reader. Yeah, and Square's offering a free reader as well. So yeah, you could use either one of those. I just happen to like PayPal, so that's what I use. All right, we'll keep going. So let me check the time too. Okay, all right, I want to make sure we have time for your questions as well. We may not get through everything, but I'm going as fast as I comfortably can. When you watch a YouTube video, you can increase the speed that it plays, which can be a much faster way to consume information. So, extremely relevant to this group here, when I send you out those replays of our calls on YouTube, you can actually watch them faster. And so if I go here to a YouTube video, this is, I think this is one with Rennie. All right, welcome everybody. So what you can do is you can go into the settings of the video, and under speed, you can choose 1.5. Some people can handle 2, maybe start with 1.5. And I'm going to turn up my volume so that we'll see if we can hear that it's faster. To the Radical Results Mastermind for Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. The reason my eyes were wandering around is I was making sure we're broadcasting it. Okay, so I don't know how well you could hear that, but yeah, you can change the speed that a YouTube video plays, and a lot of people don't know that, so I thought I would share it with you. Another thing is, unlisted videos. So what you can do is you can tell YouTube you want to upload a video, and if you want to share this with someone privately, you want to change this to say unlisted. What that will do is it'll let you upload your YouTube video, but if it's unlisted, nobody can find it unless they have the exact URL. Now you do not want private, because private means they'll have to be authenticated. Like if I made these videos private and sent them out to you guys would all have to authenticate yourselves on YouTube instead of just clicking the link. So unlisted is where we want to be. Scheduled, I think they've added that. Maybe you can schedule it to be public at a certain date, I'm not sure. But unlisted. So if you upload a video as unlisted, you can then send that URL to a client, and the client can watch it, and nobody else will be able to find it. So anyway, I wanted to mention unlisted videos to you. Keyboard shortcuts for YouTube. I don't have these memorized, but if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you can search keyboard shortcuts YouTube. And so, I mean, here are just a couple of examples. So you can play or pause with either the letter K or the space bar. You can go back 5 seconds with the left arrow, 10 seconds with the J, go forward 5 seconds with the right arrow. And so I'm guessing there's just, 18 more rows. So there's a bunch of these things. So if you're watching a lot of YouTube videos, this can be really helpful to know. And you can even move like one frame. I think that's pretty cool too. So if you're trying to get on just the right frame of a YouTube video, you can use the period and the comma, mute and unmute. So a lot of people are not aware that these keyboard shortcuts exist, and that's why I'm sharing them with you. So restart video, it's the 0 at the top of your keyboard. That's cool. I didn't know that. So anyway, just want you to be aware that there are keyboard shortcuts available for YouTube, which can probably make it a lot easier to consume your YouTube stuff. I think the play speed is probably the biggest one. And then if you want to save YouTube videos to your hard drive, either as a video or as an MP3, there are lots of tools out there. I just went ahead and found one. I don't even think I've ever used this one, but if we go here, and then let's see, where is, I was just trying to pull up the YouTube video earlier from Rennie. Okay, so here it is. So I'll pause it. Okay, so if we copy this URL for the video and then we paste it here, you can decide if you want just the audio from it or if you want the MP4. Let's just do the audio because I suspect that might be faster. I could be wrong. But yeah, you can hit start, and what it'll do is it'll go grab that video for you and convert it to an audio, and then you can put that on your phone and listen to it instead of having to watch it. So there it is. It's ready to be downloaded. So anyway, just a lot of people don't know that you can pull videos off of YouTube, but yes, you can. All right, let's move on. FreshBooks.com. If you need to send invoices to clients, especially if it's just for 1 or 2 or 3 clients, FreshBooks can be a great way to generate professional-looking invoices and have them mailed or emailed as PDFs. And I think if you only have, I don't know if it's 1 client or 2 or 3. I think it used to be 3, but it was totally free. If you have lots of clients and you're sending out lots of invoices, yeah, it'll cost some money. Not a lot, and it looks really professional, but I just wanted to mention FreshBooks because I occasionally will have a client that says I need an invoice. And so I'll go into FreshBooks and I'll just change one of my other clients to the client that needs an invoice and make all the, make it look the way it's supposed to and crank that out, usually as a PDF, and I'll just email it to them. But FreshBooks, I think even at the free level, will actually mail an invoice to a client for you. So if you're not aware of FreshBooks, just wanted to let you know about this invoicing solution. All right, another one, Evernote. You've probably heard me talk a lot about Evernote, so I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I do want to let you know how, Evernote, it's kind of like unlimited notebooks with unlimited pages. So here I have this notebook that I call Cool Code. It's technical stuff, right? And so each page has a different cool piece of programming code that I gathered and store in a notebook called Cool Code. I've got notebooks for most of my different projects. So I've got one for Automate Your Webinars, one for Big Revenue VIP Weekends, one for business reviews I've done for people. And I'm trying not to show client information up here, so that's why I'm in the Cool Code one. But yeah, it's a great way to keep track of all your various client notes and anything that you might call a project. You could create a notebook for, and then inside that you could have a note for each piece of the project. And so, yeah, I mean, I use Evernote every day, multiple times per day. It's great for taking notes when talking to clients. It's also great for writing down ideas or things to do. Yeah, you can also store information like Wi-Fi passwords or whatever. Yeah, and yeah, it's really great, and you can access it from multiple devices, so that's also cool. I can't remember where I was. Anyway, I needed a Wi-Fi password, and luckily my phone had internet, my iPad did not, and I was able to look up the Wi-Fi password from Evernote in my phone and then put it into the iPad. So anyway, Evernote, yeah, really great note-taking device. If you need to send big files to people, WeTransfer.com can be a good way to go. Okay, so let's go to free. So yeah, so essentially, oops, I don't know what I was clicking. But yeah, you can send, I think it's up to 2 megabytes of a file, or I don't know if you can do multiple files. Yeah, multiple files, up to 2 gigs for free. And so if you need to send somebody big files, this can be a great way to do it. You can also upload it to Amazon S3 and let people download it, but if it's less than 2 gigs, may as well just use WeTransfer and let them do it. So you add your files, you say who you're going to send it to, you say who you are, you send a message, and you hit transfer. So whenever I have a VA doing work for me, and it's like, you know, might be a webinar video, for example, might be pretty big, yeah, they'll usually send it to me with WeTransfer. Okay, and there are other ones out there too, but this is the one that I use and can recommend. All right, this next one, the Headline Analyzer. This is from, I think it's the American Institute of something, but aminstitute.com/headline. So this is their emotional marketing value headline analyzer. What does that mean? That means for headlines or email subject lines, you can put in your subject line here or your headline here, and it'll tell you how well you did. So I'm just going to make one up. Let's say I put free strategy session today only. I have no idea how it's going to grade this. I'm just going to select the category of business and submit for analysis. 80%, so not bad. Yeah, 100% is the highest, of course, and so it's telling me that's not a bad headline. Cool. Let's see if I can come up with a bad headline. Give me your money now. Submit. Okay, 40%. So the only headline that I know that's gotten 100% is everyone wants you to succeed. I learned this from Eva Gregory. If I submit that for analysis, boom, 100%. And if this was going to be an email subject line, I'd probably insert the person's first name in here. Everyone wants Brian to succeed. So anyway, I wouldn't live or die by this, but it is pretty good for just sort of letting you know where, you know, if you want to compare 2 different subject lines, this gives you some of the you know, the insight as to how effective it might be. But anyway, I wouldn't put a lot of faith in this, but a lot of people like this, and if you don't know about it, I thought I'd share it with you, and the URL will be in the replay slides. Okay, let's keep moving. Reddit. Reddit, I want to say it's one of the top 10 sites on the internet, but if you, I don't know, if you're age 35, 40, 45 or older, you may not know much about Reddit. At least a lot of the people I talk to don't know much about Reddit. And so Reddit is I'll just show it to you, that'd be easier. Okay, so Reddit is it's a place where people post articles or questions and people respond. And it's broken into what they call subreddits. So this is a subreddit called r/pics. This one's r/funny. This one's r/gifs. This one's r/old school cool. One of the best ones is Ask Reddit, in my opinion, I should say. So I'm looking for Ask Reddit. Just search for it. Here we go, Ask Reddit. So the reason that I like Ask Reddit so much is, first of all, it's very popular, so you see a lot of answers. But if you're trying to engage your audience, you might go to askreddit.com and just look at the questions that are being asked here and ask these of your audience or something similar. So what is your best my friend is dating a terrible person and nobody can get through to them story. So if you're a dating coach, this might be a great question to ask people to respond to. You could do that inside a Facebook group. You could do that as an email. What part of reality hit you like a brick growing up? So I mean, that could apply to almost any niche, I think. Just looking to see if there might be another good one. Yeah, some of these may be what they call not safe for work, NSFW. If you could put an extremely petty curse on someone, what would it be? Whoops. Okay, let's just see what, when they're driving, every time they approach traffic light junctions, the lights would just about to turn red, so they'd have to wait a full turn every single time. So yeah, anyway, so a lot of people out there use this. It's a lot of younger people, or at least from my benchmark of where I am, they're younger. But there are all these different categories. And so let's say that, I don't know, let's say you help people get off sugar. So I'm trying to search. Okay, so 5,000, okay, sugar addiction has the most, right? Or, oh, that's just our addiction. So that's drugs and everything else. But here, sugar-free. So here's a whole Reddit with 5,000 people subscribed to sugar-free. And so if you were an expert in this, you could actually post helpful things here and people can engage with you. You need to be real careful not to spam or make them feel like you're selling something, but it could start a conversation. And so anyway, I'm just showing you Reddit. If you don't know Reddit, it's really cool, really worth hanging out or spending some time on and getting to know it. So another good site is Quora, Quora, but I don't know enough about it to teach you about it. So maybe check out Quora as well, Quora. But that's a place where people post answers to questions, and I think they have discussions similar to Reddit. Okay, let's keep moving. DudeIWantThat.com. If you need to give prizes or gifts for people in your world, whether it's business or personal, you can go to DudeIWantThat.com. Now, this also may be not safe for work. They have some sexual toys and stuff like that, but really, really creative gifts. So let me just see if, okay, well, I guess you can retread your bike tires. See if there's anything else cool. Fidget spinners, the best 80 toys you can still buy. So the reason that I'm showing you this is when I've worked with some of the 6- and 7-figure leaders in the coaching niche, a lot of them would have launches and they'd look for creative prizes to give. And so we'd always spend a lot of time on this site trying to find cool things. One thing we found was like an inflatable hot tub, and I think it was like $400 or $500 for a hot tub, and so that was kind of cool. Let's see, under categories, they might have like top. Oh, here, how about OMG? So expensive tent, vacation rentals, human eyeball ring. Anyway, it's called DudeIWantThat.com, and sometimes I'll get lost in here for too long, but a lot of cool stuff. So gravitational displacements, that's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, it might not seem like it's for business, but if you're giving away cool stuff, this can be a great way to go, or a great place to go for inspiration. So that's DudeIWantThat.com. All right, here comes a technical one. JavaScript obfuscating for iframes. Blah blah blah. What does that mean? Well, sometimes you may be on a site, like maybe it's inside WordPress or inside Lead Pages or inside somewhere, and you may want to insert an iframe, which is an HTML element. It's a way to insert a web page inside another web page. But this doesn't just matter for iframes. This works for anything. Anytime you're trying to put some HTML code into a site and it does not accept it, you can actually encode it into JavaScript, and it's called obfuscated. But this JavaScript code essentially translates back to the HTML code. So I've used this lots of times. In fact, oftentimes in one shopping cart, they will not let you embed a video source code, but they will let you embed JavaScript. So what I do is I take the video source code from here and I encode it, and then I put this JavaScript in the one shopping cart page, and it works. So Yeah, this is just, a little cool thing. If you ever are trying to put some HTML code somewhere and it's just not taking it, try obfuscating it by putting it in the top box here and generating the code, and then try putting that JavaScript code on the page where you want that HTML code to show up. So anyway, you'll have a link to that. Just thought I'd let you know about obfuscation. Okay, let's keep going. SSL certificates. You may know about SSL or HTTPS. So if I go to my website, robgoyette.com, you'll see, excuse me. All right, I had to cough there. But you'll see this padlock. So at robgoyette.com, sorry, I have to take a drink. All right, at robgoyette.com, you see this padlock here, and you see HTTPS. That's becoming more and more important. Maybe you've gone to a site where the web browser warns you, warning, this site is not secure. They may be trying to steal your information, that kind of thing. If your website is just HTTP, that's possible that that'll show up. And so what you need is something called an SSL certificate. And I'm not going to go into a lot of the details here, other than to say that wherever you host your website, you can reach out to them and find out what it will take to get that SSL certificate, or you can even put it in simpler terms and say, what will it take to get the padlock on my site? And I think there's even a site called whyknowpadlock.com. Yeah, so you can actually put in your website and it'll tell you why it's not secure. But if you don't even have an SSL certificate, that's the first place to look. So, so yeah, and it's becoming more and more important to have these SSL certificates. And a lot of places will give them to you for free. I know that Bluehost, and I'm pretty sure HostGator, will give them to you for free for your WordPress sites. So my site, robgoyette.com, it's hosted on Bluehost. It's a WordPress site. I reached out actually I went to Bluehost and just clicked around and eventually found where they give the free SSL certificate. I applied for it, and I think within one business day I had it. And another thing to realize about the padlock is sometimes you'll see, like, I don't know if it's a broken padlock or you won't see the padlock though, and it's because there's an element on your page that's not HTTPS. So like you can see this image of me right here. If you look in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, it links to my primary headshot, 500 by 625.png, but notice the beginning of the URL says HTTPS. If it said just HTTP, we would not see the padlock. So the elements on your pages, they do need to have the HTTPS as well. Okay, so those are SSL certificates. Let's keep moving. Lead pages. Okay, so you probably heard me talk about lead pages, and you know what? I want to make sure we have time for your questions. So we're going to pick this up next week as well. If you guys like it. If you don't like it, then I'll move on and teach a different topic next week. But let's go ahead and just do Q&A, because I do want to answer your questions. Some of you have already typed in questions, and I'll answer those first, but feel free to use the Q&A box if you want to ask more questions. It can be about anything we've covered or even something outside we've covered. Okay, so Judah says, I've tried the virtual background, this must be for Zoom, and everything became this gluey, ugly green, even me. Do you have any suggestions for how to get the background on Zoom to work well? Yes, I do. So first of all is good lighting. Make sure that, that you're shining a balanced amount of light on you and on your green screen. Mostly on the green screen is where it matters. As far as it not looking grainy. Also, when you're setting up the Zoom settings, you actually get a little eyedropper. I think it's an eyedropper, but it's some kind of tool where you can click on part of your green screen, and what you want to do is you want to try to click the part that most represents the entire green screen, and it should turn all or most of the background into your picture. So yeah, so those are my suggestions on how to get the background on Zoom to work well. Is nice even lighting. And when you first upload your picture, make sure you click on a sample of the green screen so that it knows exactly which color to chroma key. Okay, so then Douglas asks, how do you limit access on S3 to just the people that are members of your program? Well, the thing is you want to make an unguessable URL. If you're posting something up on Amazon S3, then ideally you want to make an unguessable URL. And so sometimes I'm good about that, sometimes I'm not. But yeah, if nobody has the URL, then they can't get to your S3 item. And if they do have the URL, they can. So how do I limit S3 to just the people that are members of my program? If I answer that personally, you guys that are in the Radical Results Mastermind Basic and also the people in Platinum, you get emails with links to this stuff. Usually I'll put the video on YouTube as an unlisted video, but I could put it on Amazon S3 and just send you the links. But other people who are on my list that are not members of either of these groups, they don't get an email from me with the link. So that's how I protect it. Marianne asks, what about OneNote? I assume this is in comparison to Evernote. Yeah, I don't know OneNote at all, but I believe it's a Mac program. And yeah, if it works for you, you really just need a way to keep track of stuff. So if you like using word processors or OneNote or Evernote or Notepad or whatever, that's fine. I'm just sharing with you that I found that Evernote is just a really great third-party solution. Do you guys have any other questions? Because we've still got a little bit of time and I want to make sure that we're getting them all answered. I'll go ahead and just flash through some of the slides we've covered already, maybe as a reminder. Okay, so we talked about VoiceBase for basically transcribing audios, Easy GIF for making silent videos out of silent video images out of videos. Talked about archive.org that takes snapshots of sites like over the years so you can go see old sites, what they look like, and how to archive your own pages. Talked about Fiverr and how to bid intelligently, some PowerPoint keyboard shortcuts and tricks there. We talked about if this, then that. We talked about Zamzar for conversion, meaning converting files from one form to another. We talked about Bing image search. If you need royalty-free images, this can be one way to do it. We talked about advanced Google searches. Again, if you build that muscle, you'll become really, really strong at using the internet to get what you want. We talked about, I think we talked about this. Yeah, we did. If you get error messages, yeah, you can Google those error messages, and usually you can basically solve most of your own problems by Googling error messages. I did see another question come in. What is the link to download YouTube video to MP3 audio on phone or computer? Okay, so Lorna, yeah, we'll hit that here in just a second. We talked about Hotwire for good travel deals. Talked about the Zoom virtual background. Website passwords that are stored in your browser that you can actually retrieve those. The Amazon AWS as having like a big online server for your files and folders. Talked about KDP, so you could publish your first book on Amazon. Talked about the Google Translate app, which is cool for walking around in a foreign country or where you can't read the signs and letting Google help you. In Gmail, we talked about the snoozing. This is how I keep a clean inbox, and I really recommend it. We talked about some keyboard shortcuts. I like the letter C for compose and the letter Y for archive, but there are lots of them. We talked about canned responses, so you can send out similar emails to people very easily and quickly. And then we talked about having multiple addresses for testing things out by adding the plus sign after the first part of your Gmail address and then some word or number. I'm recommending you guys use Loom to really to communicate with people. It's really great for that. It lets them look over your shoulder or see you on camera, and it renders quickly. It gives you a quick URL that it even copies to your computer's memory or clipboard, so you can just send it right off. Yeah, I think the more you use it, the more you'll like Loom. Browsers, talked about zooming in and zooming out by holding the control key and using the scroll wheel. Talked about incognito to have a session launch without cookies. Talked about inspecting elements. That's where I changed my PayPal balance to 900,000. We talked about clearing cookies at the URL level, because sometimes you don't want to clear all your cookies, but you want to clear them just for certain URLs. We talked about VPNs so that you could mask your location, and that it's good in case like some site is not letting you through based on your current IP address. This is a way to change that IP address. Talked about how to create PayPal buttons and also to get a PayPal card reader. Okay, and then this is the answer to Lorna's question, this last bullet point. So we talked about increasing the play speed on YouTube. We talked about having unlisted videos so that you can upload your YouTube videos without anyone else seeing them, but just simply give the URL to the person you want to see it. We talked about some of the shortcuts in YouTube. And then, yeah, as far as to download and encode YouTube videos, it looks like the URL is onlinevideoconverter.com/video-converter. But I'll tell you that even if you lose this URL, you can just go to Google and type in download YouTube MP3 or something like that, and you'll see there are a bunch of these sites out there that do that. All right, we've had a couple more questions come in. Let me take a look at those. Okay. Lorna asks, what's the function to clear cookies on websites? If you're asking why, usually it's for testing. It's so you want to appear as a new user for doing that. If you're not asking that, Lorna, please ask your question again. When you say, what's the function? Do you mean, why would you do it? Usually it's for testing reasons. I showed you the example of how I cleared my countdown timer back to 60 minutes by clearing the cookie on that site. And then can you clarify to function for Gmail multiple email addresses? Again, for testing. So, you know, I do this a lot when I'm testing one of my funnels. I'll try using one address and you know, maybe something doesn't work. Maybe I'm not tagged with an affiliate link or something like that. And so I go back in and fix it. Now I want to test it again. But, you know, I could go back into my shopping cart and delete the original email address and then use the same email address. But to me, it's just faster and easier to go ahead and use a variation of the email address using that plus sign and then submitting it new. And then also I can tell, because if the old one's in there and the new one's in there, I can see which emails are coming to which addresses. It's really, really good for testing. It can also be good for tracking. Let's say you go to walmart.com and you decide to order something and they ask for your email address. Well, if my email address is rgoyette@gmail.com, I could put rgoyette plus walmart@gmail.com. And then if I started getting a bunch of spam at robgoyette plus walmart@gmail.com, I'd know where it came from. It came from Walmart. So it can be a good way to track who's spamming or giving away your email address as well. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up unless there are any other questions. I'll give you guys just a second in case there are. Or maybe I'll continue this review. Maybe that'd be a good idea. Let's see what else. Yeah, FreshBooks for invoicing, Evernote, or you could use OneNote or whatever you like to keep track of stuff. I just recommend having notebooks, and inside notebooks having unlimited notes per notebook. WeTransfer.com for transferring big files. The AM Institute Headline Analyzer if you want to just test some subject lines against each other. Reddit if you want to go and just explore. I think you'll be really impressed by Reddit. And yes, there's a lot of immaturity on there, but there's a lot of great stuff. I've learned so much in using Reddit. They have an area called Life Tips, or I think it's Life Pro Tips. Really great things that just a lot of people don't know about. So anyway, yeah, check out Reddit, especially the popular threads. I think you'll be impressed. DudeIwantThat.com in case you're looking for cool gifts or prizes. Oh, and Cindy says, great info, Rob. Thanks so much. Yeah, you're very welcome, Cindy. Thanks for being on this call. We talked about the JavaScript obfuscation. So if you're trying to put some HTML into WordPress or into lead pages or some solution and it's not letting you, try obfuscating it. SSL certificates, that's where we talked about having that padlock. And again, most web hosts will give you one for free. So probably a good idea just to go to your web host and start looking around, or even engage them in chat and ask them if they offer a free SSL certificate. And then we stopped at lead pages. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up the call right now. That'll give you guys an extra 1 minute in your day or so. But thank you for being on this call. And yeah, I'll look forward to speaking with you next week. And by the way, if you like this topic, let me know if I should keep going down this road or if you want me to switch over to something non-technical. I'm just trying to share a lot of the stuff that I've seen people have really big aha moments about. All right, I'll wrap up for now. Thank you guys. Bye.